The Cauldron of the Dagda. In the ancient days of Ireland, when the land was ruled by magic and mist, there lived a powerful figure known as the Dagda, a great white Irish man with broad shoulders, a long red-brown beard, and eyes that held both kindness and immeasurable wisdom. He was one of the leaders of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the mystical people who walked the land before mortal men claimed it. The Dagda was known for many things: his strength, his laughter, his harp that could change the seasons, and his great appetite. But above all, he was known for his most treasured possession, the Cauldron of Plenty, a vast bronze vessel that never ran empty. No matter how many came to eat, the cauldron always provided. It was said that no one ever left it unsatisfied. The cauldron rested in the Dagda's great hall, a place filled with warm firelight, carved wooden beams, and the scent of herbs and roasted meats. Warriors, poets, and travelers often gathered there, knowing they would be welcomed with food, warmth, and stories. But the cauldron was more than a source of nourishment. It was a symbol of abundance, generosity, and the deep magic that flowed through the land. One autumn evening, as the leaves turned gold and the wind carried the scent of rain, a messenger arrived at the Dagda's hall. He was a young white Irish man with pale skin and dark hair, breathless from riding. "Dagda," he said, bowing deeply, "the Fomorians demand tribute." The hall fell silent. The Fomorians were a dark and ancient race, beings of shadow and storm who lived across the sea. They despised the Tuatha Dé Danann and sought to weaken them through fear and hunger. "What tribute do they demand?" The Dagda asked, his voice calm but heavy. "They want you," the messenger whispered. "They want you to come to their camp and serve them a feast." A murmur spread through the hall. The Dagda was a leader, a figure of immense power. Forcing him to serve was an insult, a humiliation meant to break the spirit of the Tuatha Dé Danann. But the Dagda only nodded. "If they wish to test me," he said, "then I will show them who I am." He took his great cauldron, slung it over his back, and set out toward the Fomorian camp. The journey was long, and the sky grew darker with each step. When he arrived, he found the Fomorians gathered around a massive pit they had dug into the earth. They were tall, twisted figures, white Irish men with harsh features, pale eyes, and expressions carved from cruelty. Their leader stepped forward. "Dagda," he sneered, "we have prepared a meal for you to serve. If you can finish it, we will accept your tribute." The Fomorians filled the pit with porridge, milk, meat, fish, herbs, onions, and every ingredient they could find. They stirred it with tree trunks, laughing as the mixture bubbled and steamed. The pit was so large that it could have fed an entire army. The Dagda looked at it calmly. "You expect me to eat all of this?" he asked. The Fomorians grinned. "If you are truly the great Dagda, you will." The Dagda sat beside the pit, lifted his enormous wooden spoon, and began to eat. The Fomorians watched, expecting him to fail. But the Dagda ate steadily, calmly, as though the food were nothing more than a simple meal in his hall. He ate until the pit was empty. He ate until the Fomorians stared in disbelief. He ate until the earth beneath him was scraped clean. When he finished, he stood, wiped his beard, and looked at the Fomorians with a quiet smile. "I thank you for the meal," he said. "But next time, season it better." The Fomorians were stunned. Their attempt to humiliate him had failed. The Dagda turned and walked away, carrying his cauldron with him, his steps steady and strong. When he returned to his hall, the Tuatha Dé Danann greeted him with cheers, but the Dagda only laughed. "It was a good meal," he said, "but nothing compares to what we make here." He placed the cauldron back in its place, and soon the hall was filled with warmth and laughter once more. The cauldron glowed softly, as though pleased to be home. But the Dagda knew that the cauldron's true power was not in its endless food. It was in what it represented, the strength of generosity, the magic of abundance, and the unbreakable spirit of his people. Years passed, and the Dagda continued to lead with wisdom and kindness. His cauldron fed warriors before battle, comforted the weary, and brought joy to countless gatherings. It became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in times of darkness, there was always a place where hunger could be eased and spirits lifted. And so, the cauldron of the Dagda lived on in Irish memory, a vessel of magic, generosity, and the deep, ancient power of the land. If you enjoyed this journey, kindly like and subscribe to help us grow. Take care.